the responsibility for all state institutions to review the legislation under which they work is an important one all the time. It is, I think, appropriate that this conference is taking place here. We must remember that the purpose of the law for demarcation is threefold. The first one is to establish a framework for all of government to align their service delivery boundaries with those of municipalities, which means that even at a ward level, at a municipal level, and the provincial boundaries are very important for purposes of aligning all government departments, for purposes of integrated development, their boundaries with those of municipalities. So that's the first reason. The second one is for purposes of electoral purposes, so that people know when to elect, where are their boundaries and so on. So those are important for that, and which municipality they fall in that municipality, in which ward. The third reason is that these demarcations also are beginning and has always been in a sense, but it has to be more so now for developmental purposes, so that the basic planning takes on board the municipal boundaries. Even if the requirement is for integration, you still have to operate from the smallest unit of governance, so that in the work that you do, you consider the municipal boundaries and the spillages across these boundaries and so on, because they are not supposed to be fixed by Chinese walls. Diseases and other pollution-related issues respect no boundaries. So it is necessary that cooperation happens across the board. So yes, and in the fourth important reason is in the conduct of all of government and its responsibility, public participation is an important part of that decision, so that there is effective consultation with people who are going to be affected by municipal boundaries. It's not just the residents themselves, it's also development practitioners, government officials, and government entities that have anything to deal with planning and doing work. All of those must give their inputs on the appropriateness of boundaries at any time. So looking at all those factors today and to check whether the law as it stands since it was made require amendment and so on. There are aspects of it that will be amended, and that will be done soon. There is consultation around what amendments those should be and so on. Yes, I think it is an appropriate period to do that, so that as early as now, we begin to frame the areas that we must follow up to improve, so that we do not have situations such as you have been citing. Fortunately, in the majority of instances in the country, we have had, although people were unhappy, compromises around some of this. And so today and tomorrow, there are going to be debates about those issues and what can be done to improve them. What factors perhaps we must begin to emphasize more in the quality of the work that gets done by the Demarcation Board. I think it alone is not adequate. It is all stakeholders who are affected by the demarcation process, the national departments, the provincial departments and governments, and municipal structures such as the South African Local Government Association. They are all impacted upon this, and in a sense they have some responsibility to bear, because the Demarcation Board as an independent body needs to consult, for example, with municipalities. So local municipalities, district and metro municipalities, including their associations, are critical role players in this process.
Well, when we look at the establishment of the board back in 1999, was it? Yes. And one of the focus back then was around spatial transformation, and now the focus have shifted, because I think we had that ability to get spatial transformation. The focus now is on service delivery, whether we have municipalities that are sustainable enough to ensure that they deliver the services necessary to the population of South Africa.
No, I don't think it started in 2009. Those purposes have always existed. In other words, that in the very manner in which we had to do demarcation. And this is why it had to be the first piece of legislation that affects local government to draw the boundaries under which we would establish municipal. That manner of drawing those boundaries had to follow a specific pattern to undo the spatial fragmentation that we were left by apartheid and its engineering. So its very first act, the demarcation process, had to take consideration. One of its principal criteria is that there must be integration of areas that previously fell under different racial, tribal distinctions. And so that has been an ongoing responsibility for demarcation.